Welcome to DevOps Project Live Implementation Project Car Rental Booking Portal using Nexus and VM. This is a small application where you can book the car rental for your customers. Okay. So tools you are going to use is Nexus Certified, Virtual Machine and Spring Boot, React.js, Terraform or Azure DevOps. Let's see. So this is the part 6 of our DevOps Project Live Implementation. Okay, till now we have completed 5 projects. Okay, this is the project 6. Let's see. Welcome to the course overview. Project title Car Rental Services Booking Portal Overview. So this project provides a simple and web-based car rental booking management system. Okay. So that designed to automate the process of renting the cars, and it allows to register the car and register the customer and calculate the rental charges automatically. Okay. So goal to build a secure and scalable and reliable car rental booking management system that leverages the Azure cloud native services for higher performance and easy maintenance. Okay, let's see the project. Here we go. So this is the portal. So this is the car rental services booking portal. Okay. So where customer customer try to hit the application, where he will allow to enter the car details. So once he will enter the car details like car name, model, year, and price per day. And if you want, he can upload the image. So add. So once the car is added, then you need to enter the customer. So you need to enter the customer details, the customer license name, phone number, and the email number. So after adding the customer, so here you can able to add the booking. Okay, so you need to enter the car, you need to enter the customer details, you need to enter the date of giving the car and return of the car. Okay, once you will add the booking, so you can able to see the history of the customers and their cost for booking. Okay, so here you can see the customer name and the car he is taken and details from when and he will take it. So after that you will get the total cost. Okay, this is the front end application. Okay, let's see how to build this application and how we are going to use the Nexus certificate, how we are going to use the virtual machine, and how to build using Terraform and CI/CD pipeline. Okay, let's see. Azure services and DevOps tools we are going to use. Okay. So key highlights front end. So we will develop the front end application using React.js. Okay. Where user allow us to enter the car details and customer details, and he will enter the car. He will book the car. Okay. So we have backend. So it will be developed using Spring Boot. So this is the main business logic. So this will be process your data and store the data in backend local DB. Okay, we have local DB, so we are not going to use any MySQL. Okay, so DB. So it will be save the car details and customer details and cost details also in local DB. And we have Nexus. So these will store the artifacts of your application. Okay. So you install the Nexus artifact in a separate VM. So where you can able to build your application in Azure DevOps and push to the Nexus artifact tree. Okay. The help of a CD pipelines, you will deploy this artifact next, art, Nexus artifact to your corresponding VM. Okay. See, in our case, we are using a dev VM only. Okay. So we will secure our VM with the help of a VNet. Okay, we are able to open only specific port only. We are using Nginx as a server. Okay, so we will use the Azure DevOps. So we will use the Azure repository and Azure pipelines. So where Azure pipelines will be triggered automatically when a change is detected in Azure repository. Okay, so we're using Terraform. So that will version your Azure Infra resources. Okay, let's see how to implement end-to-end this application. What you will achieve at the end of this course. Okay, let's see step 1 and step 2. So you can able to develop the front-end application and back-end application, and you can able to deploy in the virtual machine. Okay, so point 3. So you can able to write the Terraform script that will provision your resources. So where we have multiple resources, okay, these resources we need to provision with the help of a Terraform task, okay. So after that, point 4, you can set up the Nexus server, okay. This is the one-time setup for your Nexus server, okay. After that, you need to configure the front-end and back-end applications. So this is the one-time setup for your VM, okay. So we need to establish the secure connection between front-end and back-end. This will be part of a one-time setup of your VM. Okay. So after that, you need to build a Azure pipelines for your CI/CD pipelines and infra pipelines and cleanup pipelines. Okay. So the whole idea is to build your application and deploy in the virtual machine. Okay, where you can use the Nexus artifacts. Okay. So with this, you can gain a real-world DevOps project for their portfolio. Okay, let's see how to build and deploy this application. So let me introduce about myself. I am Prasanna Kumar. I have 10 years of experience in IT industry. So I have worked on multiple DevOps roles and currently I am working on one of the topmost MSC company. So I have working experience on different kind of projects like banking, automobile and travels and transport and medical care and telecom and big four companies etc. So I have multiple certifications. So one of them are so AWS DevOps and Azure DevOps and based fundamental cloud certification like Azure fundamentals and AWS fundamentals. Okay, let's go to architecture and tech stack walkthrough. Okay, let's see the architecture of car rental services portal. Okay, this project will be building using Nexus and virtual machine server and Azure DevOps. Let's see. So if you are not able to see the architecture, I will open in separate photo. Okay, this is better. So this is the architecture of this project. Okay, you see multiple components. This is the Azure portal, and we have Nexus artifact VM in Azure. So we have public subnet, we have VNet, we have VM, we have public IP. So we have Azure DevOps parts here. Okay, let's see the flow. So we have the developers. So developer will develop the front end and back end application. So once the code is ready, they will push to the Azure repository. Okay. So this Azure repository and the Azure pipelines are the part of Azure DevOps. Okay. So we have Azure pipelines. So when a change is detected in Azure repository, so Azure pipelines will be triggering. We have multiple pipelines. We have infra pipelines. We have CI/CD pipelines. We have cleanup pipelines. Okay. So CI/CD pipelines will be split into four pipelines. Front-end CI pipeline, back-end CI pipeline, okay, front-end CD pipeline, back-end CD pipeline, okay. Okay, let's start. Okay, with the help of infra pipeline, so these all resources will be deploying in the Azure repository, and we have established a service connection for that. Okay, that is a separate service connection. Okay, once the infrastructure is ready, so you need to set up a Nexus artifact. Okay, so this Nexus artifactory, you need to do a one-time setup. So I will show you how to set up that one. So this Nexus artifactory, you can create using Terraform or using manually. You can go to portal and you can create. Okay. So once, let's go to the portal. So yeah, go to portal. This is the portal. So I have deployed the Nexus server in this specific resource group. Okay, this is the IP, public IP of Nexus server. Copy that one. Okay, this is your server, the application server. This is a Nexus server. So you need to check whether the application is whether the server is in the on state or off state. Okay, server is on state only. We need to so we deploy the server 8081. Okay, we need to pass the port. Okay, this is the Nexus server. So we need to install this one. Okay, once the installation is completed, the it will be deployed in a separate subnet only. Okay, so once the Nexus artifact is completed, so now we need to build the CA pipeline. So we have front end CA and we have back end CA. So in the front end CA, so it will take the help of a service connection, and we will use the credentials of Nexus artifact. So it will be connected, it will be deployed in the Nexus artifact. Okay, both front end and back end will be deployed. So once the artifact is deployed in Nexus artifact, now come to CD pipeline. So we have front end and back end CD. So with the help of a CD pipelines, so we will be deploying the existing artifacts, and we will deploying in your VM. Okay, so after deploying, the application will be restarting so that it won't lose the data. Okay, so once the application is ready, so it will be access to the public API. We need to open the public API. Okay, where we have deployed the front end application in Nginx. Oh, so we have opened port 80. Okay, so with the help of the public API, so user can able to allow to access. Okay, like this global users can be accessed. Okay, let's see the full workflow one time. So developers will push and pipelines will be triggering. So infra pipeline will be provisioned. So after that, we need to set up the Nexus artifact. Okay, so we need to create Nexus and we need to do one-time setup. We need to do one-time configurations. Okay, after that we have CI pipeline. This will push your code to the Nexus artifact, and we have CD pipeline. This will deploy your Nexus artifact to the corresponding VM. Okay, so once the application is up and running, we have a public API. So global users will be access this portal. Okay, this is the end-to-end workflow. And in meanwhile, we have multiple service connections. Okay, so this will be helpful to interact with your corresponding servers. Okay, so let's go to build this end-to-end application. Yeah, and same we have mentioned. So walkthrough, this is a walkthrough. So build and deploy. So developers commit the code to the repository, and we have Azure pipelines. This will build the Azure application, and that will push to the Nexus server. Okay. So we have Nexus setup. So we need to create a VM using front Terraform or UI. Okay. So this allows us to public accessible. After that, we need to configure the Nexus setup. Okay, this is the one-time setup. Okay, so after that, once you provision the VM, you need to do one-time setup for your front-end and back-end applications. Okay, so the traffic will be go from front-end to back-end. So that will be done in the Nexus configurations. I will show you that how to do. Okay, so application deployment. So we have CD pipeline that will deploy the Nexus hardware to VM server. Okay, so it will be do for both front-end and back-end. Okay, data connectivity. We don't have any data since we are using local data, so it will be the backend will be converted into DB. Okay, let's see the whole process. Yeah, yeah. Both we have deployed the front end and back end application both in single server only. Okay, so once you deploy, so it will be refreshed. It will be restarted the application, and you can able to access the public API. Okay. The whole idea is how to use the Nexus artifact in your projects. Okay. Okay, let's see. Two, environmental setup. Okay. So we need to set up some prerequisites. So we need to procure the Azure subscription. Okay, that will be pay as you go. And after that, you need to create a Azure DevOps organization. Okay, once two will be ready, we can good to start. So local tool setup. You need to install Node.js and Visual Code and Git, Maven and Java 18. Okay. Okay. So if you want, you can use Azure pipeline agent, or else you can use your own. Okay. So after that, you need to procure the Azure service principal and service connection. Okay. This is common for all projects. So this environmental setup would be same for all projects. Okay. So once you will get, so you need to create a Azure repository. You need to write the front end and back end application. You need to write the IAC folders. Okay. You need to follow the standard naming convention. Okay. So for Terraform, you need to set up the backend setup. Okay. Those process also I already show you in the first project. Okay. Let's go to project setup. So front end, back end, and DB development. Okay, let's see. So first of all, we need to clone the Git repository, and we need to create a front end folder. We need to create a back end folder. So to develop the front end application, you need to pass this command: npm create add tab my app. Okay, you can pass based upon your name. Okay, let's see how to develop, and let's go to the walk through to the front end application. This is the repository. So this is the front end. Okay, let's see. This is the env folder. This is the package.json. This is the src folder. This is the api.js. Okay. So these are APIs for fetching your data. Okay. So API this will be taken from this environment file. So from here it will take the slash API. So this is nothing but, so backend will be integrated with the help of this env file only. Okay. So if you have any specific URL, you can pass this one. So since I am migrating to virtual machine, so the recommendation is you need to use slash API only. Okay. So let's see the code. App.js. Okay, this is the full code. Okay. So this code help us to create a car state. Okay, this help us to create a customer state. So this help us to create a booking state. Okay. And let's see. This all code is related to creating the front end. Okay, we have front end, right? So this will create this all tabs. Okay, so all tabs we have, right? This information this will get when we will book the data. Okay, so let's see the rest of the code. So this is like just a form. Okay, so that will submit the data, and you can able to fetch the data from DB, and you can able to see. These all are front-end application only, React.js. So we have multiple flavors. Okay. So we have VT flavor. We have some other flavors also we have. Okay. These are the dependencies. So you can able to pass the dependencies here itself. Okay. So I have mentioned all the things here. How to build this application. Okay. So now go to backend. So till now front-end application is created. Now come to backend application. So I'll tell you how to create the backend application. You go to Spring Boot app initializer. From there you need to pass the artifacts, and you need to add the dependencies and plugins. So you need to download, and you need to unzip that file, and you can paste in this folder. Okay, backend folder. Okay, yeah. So you can see this is the form.xml. Okay, this is the form.xml. So we are using local DB, so that I'm passing this one. Okay, these are dependencies and plugins. Okay, let's go to src folder. This is the main entry for this application. Okay, we have controllers. We have three types of controllers. So we have booking controller, we have car controller, we have customer controller. So car controller. So this will be creating the data for your car creation. Okay. So you are passing front end, right? This data will be processed by this controller only, this backend controller only. Okay. The same. So booking also. So you are passing booking, right? Here. So that will be processed by this specific controller, and we have car controller. So the same data will be processing by car controller. So this data car details and customer details and booking details. So we have three separate controllers. Okay, we have configurations, that is empty. Here this is a web config. These two are not important now right now. Okay, we have modular. So these will be process your data to store in DB. Okay, so models and repositories. So these will be helpful to store the data in DB. Okay, it's all about the main. So come to resources, app that application dot properties. Okay, since we are using local DB, so we need to configure it as well like this. Okay, so your local DB will be accessed at this specific one dash h2 console. Okay, so we need to pass the local test DB. Okay, if you have your own MySQL, so then the corresponding driver should be installed in form.xml. So you can mention the specific data URL and user details also you need to pass. So since I'm using local one, I'm not giving anything. This is a username, this is a dummy one. Okay, so let's see the next backend is completed. Let's go to local DB interaction with backend. Okay, I will show you how it will be interacting. Once the application will be up and running, so it will be directly interacting with backend. Okay, we have dummy application. Okay, dummy DB. So it will be hitting your locally. Data will be storing in locally only. Okay, like the connection will be establishing. Okay, so let me go to next slide. Yeah, once the local DB interaction is completed, the whole setup will be completed. So front end, back end, DB. So both integration will be completed. So let's see the flow. So we have front end application. So once it will be up and running, so it have env having the path dash API. That means local path dash API. Okay, localhost dot slash API. Okay, once the application up and running for backend, so it will be interacting with front end. Okay, so it has its own DB. Okay, so it will be storing its own DB. Okay, like this, front end, back end, and DB will be interacting. Okay, after that, Nexus setup and configuration. Okay, with this, our local setup is completed. Next, Nexus setup and configuration. Okay, so once you will create a Nexus artifact VM, so you can create with the help of a IAC folder, the help of a Terraform. I already given the whole code itself. Okay, so you can create with either whether Terraform code or you can use any UI. Okay, so once you have created, try to open 8081 port. Okay, the same one, but you need to add here. So in the network security group, you just in the inbound role you need to add the 8081. Okay, this one port only you need to add. So go to the Nexus server. I will show you how to create the Nexus, how to install the Nexus server. Okay. So once you created with the help of the Terraform, so you can able to create manually also. You need to open the 8081 port. So why? Because Nexus will be running on 8081 port only. Yeah. So Nexus 8080, only 8081. You need to open that port. Okay. So and you can open the port to 22 also. This is the default SSH port. Okay. So once you created the virtual machine with the help of a Terraform or UI, okay. So you can use some of the details like application size, operating system. Okay, you use the Ubuntu 24.02 and size is 8 GB RAM and 2 CPUs. That's enough for this application. Okay, the it is having the same code and Terraform code also same. So just start the this one 8081 port only you can add in network security group. Okay. So once you created, so you need to follow some steps. Let me show that one. Nexus. So you need to install the Nexus and you need to run it as a application. Okay. So I will show you how to do. These are the steps you need to follow. So first you need to create some directory and you need to create a Nexus user. Okay. So Nexus user you need to create with this help. Okay. After that you need to create these folders. Okay, these two folders you need to create. So once you log into the Nexus, you try to update all the things and you try to pass these commands. Okay, so this will create this folder, and this Nexus user. Okay, so after that you can download. You can download from this portal. Okay, so if you don't have correct URL, you can go to the Nexus portal, click the Nexus portal, so you can able to get that one. So correct URL you can get from there only. Okay, correct version. Okay, so once you install, you can unzip that one and move to Nexus corresponding folder. Okay, so we have created, right? Yeah. So after that, you need to provide the ownership. So you have an Nexus for user, right? You need to provide the ownership. So after that, you need to open this specific file on where your Nexus artifact directory is located, and you can add it as a Nexus user. Okay, so it will be run it as a user as Nexus only. Okay. So after that, you need to start it as a service. Okay, you need to create this one Nexus.service, and you need to paste these all things. This is nothing but, so you are defining that this is the working directory. This is how to start this application. Nexus start, Nexus stop, and user is Nexus. Okay. So this will be showing indicate that it will be Nexus will be started as a application. Okay, one service. When the system is start, these errors will be started automatically. Okay. So like this, we need to start. We need to install. Okay. So once you have done this service, then you can just reload. Okay, so they reload and start. Okay, that's the command. So once you have check the status of this Nexus, you can try to hit the application. Okay, you will get a initial admin password. So you can copy the password from here. You can paste in the admin section. Okay, so it will ask the username, logout. So it will ask the login. So you can pass username, password. So it will ask the one-time password. It will ask the password. You can use the password. You can create your own password. I have my own password. I have changed. Okay. So this is the Sonar Nexus artifact. So let's browse. So here are the artifacts you are going to deploy. So I have my own artifacts, car booking and car rental services. Click that one. So this is the backend. Okay. This is a Java application. This is the backend. This is the tag. Okay. Come. Okay. This is the front end application. So we have two versions, 602 and 618. Click that one. So you can see this is the zip file. Okay. Under that, all the build files will be stored. Okay. Yeah. So how to create the repositories now? Yeah. Go to settings, repositories. Sorry, repositories. Create repository. You can select the type of repository. Okay. So you can try to create a raw. Okay, raw means it will be uh, you can able to create any type of applications like jar files, war files, Python application, .NET application, NuGet application, JS application, or zip files, whatever it is. Okay, you can make it as a raw. Or else, if you need a specific one only, you can go to this one. Okay, we have different type of applications. Docker applications we have, Go application, Helm application, Maven application, NPM application, NuGet, that means .NET. We have Python, we have R, we have Ruby, something M also we have. So I am gone with raw. So hosted means it will be created in this repository only, in this server only. Okay. So once you install download and you need to install, you need to create the repository. Okay. Once the Nexus creation is completed, so you need to save the username and password in Azure repository. Okay, I will show you that later. Yeah. Now Nexus setup is completed and configuration is completed. So now Nginx setup for front end and Spring Boot setup. Okay. So now Nexus setup is completed. Let's see. Once you deployed your infrastructure using pipeline, so we need to done one-time setup. Okay. So Nexus we need to configure for front end. So after that we need to do the configuration for Spring Boot. Okay. Let's see that one also. So once your pipeline is deployed, you will do this all thing. Okay. So I'm just telling before that one. Okay. So first step is you need to go here and you can run your backend application as a service. Okay, this is the service. You need to create this one and you need to paste all these details. Okay, so description we have, username we have, and Java. You need to run your application. Okay, like this. Okay, so this is the artifact what are generated by the Maven. Okay, we need to tell them it will be run as a application. Okay. That is the important one. So after that you can enable that one and restart that one. Okay, that is the setup for backend. Okay, so simple step. So Spring Boot application should be run as a service. Okay, startup service. Okay, so like vice versa for front end also. I will show you that one also. Now the backend is completed. Now we will come to front end. Yeah. So we have front-end application that is developed React.js. So since it is a static application, so it should be run under Nginx. So we need to install the Nginx. After the installation of Nginx, so we need to go to this specific folder. We need to pass this command and we need to paste these details. Okay. So that means see, that means you are telling that this is the front end application where it will be storing your front end. Okay. And you have the API at this specific location. Okay. Slash API is the backend API. Okay. Like this, front end and backend both applications are integrated. Okay. With the help of Nginx. So now front end application is completed. So we need to restart that Nginx. Okay. Yeah. Once all the configuration is completed, you can try to hit it in the server. Okay, this is how we need to do. The steps are very simple. So front end should be attached to Nginx. Okay, so for that first you need to tell the Nginx the front end location is this specific one and back end location is that specific one. Okay, it will be running since it is running as a local, so I'm just giving the localhost 800/API. Okay, with the help of a front end, you have front end, right? You have route slash API. Okay, it will check in localhost. It will be routing the traffic to backend application. You have backend application running in locally, so that it will be routing the traffic to backend. Okay, this is the one-time setup for any server. Okay, so once the one-time setup is completed, now we can do CI/CD. Okay, yeah. Now come to this is the one-time setup. Once you will complete the local development, after that we will see the Terraform code. 4. Infrastructure as a code, Terraform. So first of all, we need to write the Terraform code. So that will provision the Azure infrastructure. So after that, we need to organize the infrastructure as a code project directory, project structure. So we need to configure the Terraform backend. So since we are using storage account to configure the Terraform backend, okay. After that, we need to create a service principal so that have the managed entity to provision your resources, and we need to establish the service connection. Okay, you need to use in the Azure pipelines. So with the help of infra pipelines, we need to deploy and we need to verify that one. Okay, so let's see the code first. So this is the project directory. So I already provided you in the earlier session. I explained earlier. Okay, now I'm just going walk through this code only. Okay, let's remove this one. So this is the standard naming conversation. So we have given it. So this will create the resource group. Okay, so this will create the virtual network. Okay, this will create a Azure subnet. Okay, this will create a network security group. Okay. So network security group is nothing but it having inbound rules and outbound rules. Okay. So I'm opening the port 80 since my front-end application is running in front-end. Since my front-end application is running in port 80, I've opened the inbound rule as a 80. Okay. So and I have opened the port 22. Okay. After that, I'm denying all other inbounds. Okay. So since why? Because I have done open port 22 is so I need to do one-time setup, right? So front-end and back-end application setup we need to do, right? I already told you in the earlier slide. So we need to set up the Nginx for front-end and Spring Boot setup. Okay, I already explained you, right? The same thing for that purpose we need to interact with SSH. We need to interact with the application so that we need to pass this. We need to give this port 22. Okay. So after that you need to attach the subnet to the associated subnet to your network security group. Okay, you have created subnet. So under that you have a network security group. Okay, you have associated that one. So we have created a public IP. So that will be attaching to your corresponding resource group. Okay. So after that we have a network interface. Okay, this will enable to communicate your subnet to public IP. Okay. So this will help for network interface. Okay, you have subnet. So this will be interacting with your public IP. Okay. So after that, we are going to create a Linux virtual machine. Okay, you are using username and password. So you are using this site, this specific site, Linux virtual machine site. Okay. So we are attaching that network interface so that this VM will be interacting with that network interface. Okay. You need to specify the image details. We are using Ubuntu. This is the 22.4 version. Okay, long term version. So this is the code. Okay, so let's see the code. So with the help of this Terraform, we will create a first we will create a virtual resource group, then we will create a virtual network, then we will create a subnet, then we will create a virtual machine. After that, we need to create a network instance. So that will attach your virtual machine to subnet and it will be attached to public IP. Okay, you will create the public IP that will be attached to the network interface. Okay, this is the how we need to deploy with the help of a Terraform code. Okay, let's see how to create the CI/CD pipelines. So and also I forget to how to where to mention all the details. You have backend TFRs where you can mention all your backend details like TF state details. You need to pass the storage account. You need to pass the resource group. You need to pass the TF file name. Okay. So your TF state file will be stored in this specific location. Okay. So dev.tf parse. So here you need to pass the key values of your application. Okay. This is the project name. This is the application name. This is the environment. This is the location shortcut, and this is the block code, and this is how you need to log in. Okay. Azure admin user and Azure password. So while login to your server, you need to pass the username and you need to pass the specific password and allowed SSH. So we are allowing. Yeah, I will show you allow SSH. So we are allowing a designation as a star. That means anyone can able to interact with your server. So with the help of a 422. So whoever is having access of this one, whoever is having secure username and password, they can able to log into the server. Okay. So why did I have mentioned specifically this var file means? So if you, later I will like to add some users, some specific IP only they need to allow to interact with this server. So I have opened here. I have kept this one. So if some users having some specific IPs, they only need to interact. So then their IP I will collect and I'll give here and create the resources so that the specific users only they will communicate with my server. Okay, that's the intention to keep the key value here. Okay. So now we have Terraform code. So later we need to create the pipelines. Let's see. 5. CI/CD pipeline with Azure DevOps. Okay. So we are going to create all the pipelines with the help of a Azure pipelines only that are YAML based like that pipeline. So we have multiple pipelines. So we have infra pipeline, we have front end CI pipeline, we have front end CD pipeline, we have backend CI pipeline, we have backend CD pipeline. So cleanup pipeline. So this will destroy all your resources. Okay. Let's start with infra pipeline. Infra pipeline. So this will provision your infrastructure using Terraform task. Okay. Let's see. So we have Terraform pipeline.yml. So we have full agent. It will be triggered manually. So that I have given none. We have single stage only. So this step will be enabled to install the Terraform version. If the version is not available, this will be download the Terraform and it will be installing, and then you will show the Terraform code. Okay. After that, you need to do the Terraform unit. You will use the subscript. This is the service principal ADO. Okay. You will use that one. After that, Terraform valid. After that, Terraform plan. After that, Terraform deploy. Terraform apply. Okay. So like this, you need to deploy. So go here. So these are the pipelines I already created. You need to create the infra pipeline. So I have created. So once the pipeline is success, so all the resources will be deploying. So already created. So this will be creating this one. This is the project name, GBT, portal car, rental dev, plus RG. Okay. This will create the network interface, network security group, public IP, virtual machine, disk, and VNets. Okay. So these all we are having. Okay. Once you are deployed the virtual machine and the all related components, so we need to install the one-time setup of your front-end and back-end application. Okay, I already told you here. So we need to do the setup of Nginx, setup for front-end and Spring Boot application setup. So that thing I have given here. So just follow that steps. Yeah, simple steps. So first one, so we need to create this one. Okay. So it means so your Spring Boot application will be run as a startup application. Okay. So after that you need to enable, you need to start that service. Okay, that is the point one. So next front end application. So we need to copy and paste the Nginx. Okay. The React.js application. This is the location of React.js. Okay. After that, this is the API. So Nginx will know that this is the API. It will route your traffic. This is a reverse proxy. Okay. So once these two setups is completed, you just restart that Nginx. Okay. Once these two steps is completed, so once one time setup is completed. Okay. So like this, infra pipeline will be completed. You need to verify all the components. Okay. So go to virtual machine. So try to log in there and you can cross check all the things. So you can go here, connect. You can copy all the details. So copy this one, paste, enter. You need to give the password. You have I already given you. This is the password. Copy this one and you need to paste. So this is the yeah. You need to paste. Yeah, yeah. You just verify now. So I already done all the things. We just cross check that things. Okay, first we will check the front end application. Yeah, backend just check the status of backend application. Yeah, the application is up and running. Okay. Now front end application. So that is running in Nginx. Yeah, that is also running. Okay, so it's confirmed that front end and back end is running. Okay, now come to, so yeah, we have completed the infra pipeline. With this, we have completed the infra pipeline. So we have done the one-time setup. Okay, now we will go forward. We will do the front end application CI and CD, back end application CI and CD. Okay, let's see. So till now we have completed the infra pipeline. Okay, so let's verify that what are the components it's deployed. So it deployed the virtual machine and its related network components like subnet, network reference, network security group, and it will generate a public IP. Okay, so this will be all it will be deploying. We already verified. Okay, let's move to CI/CD pipelines. So now go with the front end CI pipeline and front end CD pipeline. Okay, so front end CI pipeline. So this will build and publish it as a artifact to Nexus repository. Okay. So first of all, we need to create a Nexus repository. So that repository we need to store our front end code. Okay. We need to build and we need to publish the artifact to Nexus repository. Okay. Let's see. So go to your Nexus. So this is the Nexus. So once you have created, where is our code? Okay, this is the front end. So HTML view. Sorry, this is how you can able to see. Yeah. So you can copy your URL. Okay. So just copy this front end and back end both URLs. You have two URLs. You just copy from both URLs. Okay. Now go to Azure pipelines. So let's quickly review our pipelines. This is the front end pipeline, build pipeline. This is the deploy pipeline. So build pipeline. So once you will copy your repository, you can paste here. Okay. Nexus repo URL. Okay. You can, it will be a variable. It will be injected in the build. Okay. So build and publish. So this will make it as a Node.js version 18. Okay. After that, this will be command will install and it will build your application. Okay. So this will install your dependencies and this will develop or build artifact. Okay. npm run build. So this will be generating the artifacts. Okay. So this command will zipping your artifact. Okay. So it is generated artifact, right? So that will be save it as a zip file. Okay. This is the build file. It will be generating. So that will be renaming and zipping with the help of build id. Okay. This build id will coming from here. This is the this build.build id. It will come from a pipeline only. So why? Because when you are trying to deploy, it will asking version. So that we need to generate the version. Okay. So how it will be go. Let's see. So this will publishing your generated artifact to Nexus repo. Okay. This command. So it will uploading your front end application. Okay. This is the where we are storing. Okay, this is the Nexus repo URL. So it will use the credentials of Nexus admin username and password. Okay, we need to it will be getting from here. You have Nexus credentials. Okay, you have username and password, right? So you need to store in a library. So we need to store here Nexus credentials. So I have stored here. Okay, like this. So front end will building and publishing your artifacts to Nexus repo. Okay. So now the build is completed. So now we need to go to deployment. Now come to deploy. Okay. This is the deploy. So this parameter will ask which version you are going to deploy. Okay. Currently I am set as a one only. So later while deploy you can modify this one. Okay, after that you need to Nexus credential that will download your artifact. Okay, this is the URL of your front-end application. Okay, this is the zip file name. Okay, this is the virtual machine deployment path. So where you need to deploy. Okay, let's see. So now CA pipeline pushes to the Nexus server. Okay, so your artifact will save in Nexus. So now CD pipeline, with the help of CD pipeline, so this will be download your Nexus artifact tree and pushes to the virtual machine. Okay, pushes to deploy to the virtual machine and restart the service. Okay, that is the intention of the CD pipeline. So let's see. Let's go to here step by step. After that you can re-verify all the things. So this command help us to download your artifacts. Okay, so you need to pass the credentials of Nexus and you need to pass the Nexus repo and you need to pass the zip folder, zip file. This is the same file we have uploaded to the Nexus. Okay, the same file we are using to download. Okay, so after downloading, so we need to copy to the SSH. You need to copy to your server. So for that purpose, you need to get a SSH authentication with service connection. Okay, we have established the service connection. Okay, let me show that one also. Go to service connection. Service connections we have DAO server. So this is SSH server. Edit. So you need to pass the host name. You need to give the username and password and the service connection name. You need to save. Okay. So that will be using as a this task. Okay. This will copying with the help of a SCP command. Okay. SCP, it will take the username and the host name. After that, it will take the source folder where it is downloaded. Okay. After that, content it will taking zip file. Your front end this is the right front end build. Okay. So target. So once it is login, it will paste this specific location. Okay. Yeah. So like this, then we need to copy from our local to virtual machine. Okay. Local pipeline to virtual machine. After the task is finished, that will be destroying. What are the downloaded artifact? It will be destroying automatically. Okay. So now the application is downloaded to the downloaded to the virtual machine. Okay. Now we need to up and run that application. Okay. So again, this will be login to SSH and it will be passing these commands. Okay. So let's see. So sudo make directory. It will make a directory vn deploy path. Okay. This is the it is creating this specific location. After that, it will remain if any data is there. Okay. If any data is existing, so it will removing. After that, it is unzipping. Okay, so you already seen that. So SCP will be deploying in this specific folder. From that folder, the specific file, you are unzipping to this VM deploy path. Okay, the path name is this one. So it is deploying that specific location. Okay, so after that, we are just restarting our service. Restarting us taking the service. That means, so we already configured like this the Nginx. So what is the path of front end? We already told you, right? The backend. Yeah, we have mentioned that front end should be in this specific location. Okay, var.www.html.frontend. Okay, the same we have given front end deploy. Yeah, var.www.html.frontend. So if you go to that, it will be deploying at specific location and unzipping. So after that, we just restarting the service. Okay, like this front end will be up and running. Okay, Nginx will be up and running. So let's go. So we can trigger this pipeline automatically. It will be triggered and come to deployment. So it will trigger. So it will ask the version. So which version you need to download. So go to repository. You have multiple versions. Click here, not here. Go here, browser. So click version. This is the backend. Go to frontend. Yeah, we have versions, right? Frontend build 602.618. So you need to give the version and click run. 602 or whatever it is. Click enter. So this will be deploy your application and up and running. Okay. So how to do, I will do practically in the upcoming session. End-to-end deployment I will show you how to do. Okay. So with this front end is completed. Yeah. So front end pipeline. So CI pipeline will building and deploying your application to Nexus Artifactory with the specific version. Okay. CD pipeline will trigger the pipeline. So it will deploying your specific artifact to the virtual machine. Okay. Then application will be restarting. So that is the standard process we are following. Okay. Let's see the backend application. So since front end CA and CD pipeline both are same, let's see. This is the code about front end and back end. So let's see the back end also. So we need to pass the details of front end, sorry, back end. So this is the URL of your Nexus artifact. So this is the credentials of Nexus. Okay. Yeah. So this will check the version of your backend. Okay. So this step will build your application with specific version. Okay. Maven clean package. It will give the version. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. This command help us to pass the specific version. Okay. So it will detect the jar file and it will set the version. And after that, this command help us to publish your artifact to Nexus. Okay. See the command. We have specific artifacts. So we need to publish with this specific version. So build ID. So we are setting as a build ID as a version ID. Okay. So since we are sharing, we are deploying only jar files, so that we are added this step. Why? Because so Maven will generate the artifacts. So we need to deploy these artifacts like jar files or var files only in the server, so that we are passing this. Okay, this script. So this will help us to push your jar files to Nexus artifact. Okay. Now come to build deploy. So build deploy is backend deploy also same as front end deploy. Okay, we need to pass server details. We need to pass the deployment location. We need to pass Nexus artifact details and credentials. Okay, so this will download. This will download your Nexus artifact. This will copy your Nexus artifact to corresponding server. Okay, so this is the path where you need to. This is the file where you need to copy, and this is the path where you need to paste. Okay, once it is pasted, so this will move the file to a different location. Okay, this location, then it will be reloading. The application will be reloading. Okay, so once it will reloaded, the application will be accessed. Let's check the architecture. The CI backend CI pipeline will publish to Nexus Artifactory. CDI will be pulling your image and updating the virtual machine and restarting your services. Okay, so front end application will be accessible to the public IP. Backend will be internal communication only. Okay, so we are not open the backend port. Okay, it will be working locally only. Okay, like this backend we need to deploy. Okay, so build pipeline I have created, deploy pipeline I have created. So while triggering the deploy pipeline, so it will ask the version, which version you need to deploy. Okay, we need to pass so that it will be deploying that corresponding version. Okay, let's see. So application deployment and integration. So once infra pipeline is completed, we need to verify the all the resources and cross-check the whether the resources are deployed or not. Okay, with the help of a pipelines, we need to deploy the Spring Boot on Vue.js application, and after that, we need to do configurations for one of our one-time setup. After that, we need to integrate the front end and back end and DB. Okay, so let's test the front end end-to-end testing. So let's see. You have to deploy all the things. First of all, make a change to locally. So the pipelines will be triggered automatically with the help of a deploy pipelines. So we will deploy our applications. Let's see. Okay. So first we need to make a change to our code. So where can we make? So we will make a change to front end. Go to the searching app.js. So we can open, first of all, we need to open the application. This is the application, right? Refresh that one. So can we change this name? Okay, GVK car rental services. Okay, we can make it as a GVK car rental services portal. Okay, go there to code. Find the GVK and car rental. Okay, booking portal, booking services portal. We can add as a portal. Portal. Okay, so we save this one. Front end is we have just save. Made a change to the front end and save. So now come to backend. Let's make some change in the backend also. I didn't touching any code. Why? Because this is a backend application. So since front end application is a static one, so we can able to change anything. But this is the backend, right? If you made any change to code, so it will be impacting. So I'm just making entry point for the application. Okay. So you can cross check whether is there any mistakes in this code. Okay, go here, problems, line number 9, 10, line with the line number 22, entry can't be resolved to a type Java. So line number they can't be resolved to a type Java. So how to add the comments? Let's see. I think this won't create any disturbance to you. Okay, let's share this one. Or else can we change anything in? Okay, don't touch this one. I will say I will touch this file app.js. Adding this file. Okay. Okay. So now it's not issue. Okay, close this one. Okay. Git is detected a change in this specific location. Okay. Enter the changes. Okay. Comment. And this will be pushing the code to our repository. Okay. Let's wait for pipelines to trigger. So we have some automated triggering the pipelines. The front end will be triggered automatically. So I already told you the code itself. So we have front end will. So this will be triggered. when a change is detected in front end. Okay, so vice versa for backend also. Okay, this is, so I have made some change, so it will be pipelines will be triggered now. Okay, you can see. So build front end build pipeline is triggered, backend pipeline also waiting for to trigger. Since Microsoft allocated only one pipeline, so only one pipeline agent, so it will be helping like this. So you can see the front end. Front end is built and published successfully. Let's verify that one. Check the logs. Okay. So this is building. Okay. Yeah, let's see the artifact. Let's see the version of this one. So version is 620. Okay. Let's go and verify this one. Okay, this is uploading. Okay, establishing connection and uploading. Let's go to Nexus. Okay, refresh this one. Yeah, 620. So it is confirmed that CA is working as expected. Okay, so now we need to deploy this application. Okay, go to here. So backend also completed. Backend build also completed. So let's check that version also. Okay, that version is 621. Okay, it is uploading to the Nexus repository. Okay, this is confirmed that backend also publishing. So let's verify the both. So this is 620 version and backend is 621 version. Okay, let's deploy 620 and 621. Okay, so now front end CI and backend CI is completed. Let's deploy the version to corresponding server. Okay, run pipeline. Okay, so now tell me, so this is front end or back end? Okay, front end, run pipeline. So we need to pass the version of your front end, front end. Okay, this is front end 620, version is 620, 620. Okay, run. Okay, this will be deployed. So in the meanwhile, we will trigger the backend also. So backend version is, so backend version is 621. Go here, backend 621. Okay, so here I'm given this version as a build ID only. Someone will version it as a 1.0.1, 1.0.2 like this. So based upon your pipeline configuration, you can set up that one. So let's wait for deployment. So front end is deployed. So let's see. Let's see the logs of the pipeline. Okay. So it is downloaded with the correct version 620 only. Okay. Okay. Now the application is up and running. So it is verified that application is up and running. Let's wait for backend also. So backend, what is it? Seconds ago. So version is 321. So it is downloaded correct one only. So the Spring Boot application also up and running. Okay, let's see. Yeah. So let's check the changes. So we have added a booking and portal. Okay, let's refresh this one. Yeah, here you go. You can see GVK car rental booking services portal India. Okay. So this is the cars section. This is the customer section. This is the booking section. So let's make a some customer in Ramesh car name. You need to use the car name. Okay. Tata Nexus. You need to give year 2025. Price per day is so 3000 per rent. So add car. Okay, now the car is added. Customer. So customer details. Then Sharma. So driving license. Okay. You need to give his phone number, and after that you need to give the mail, data, gmail.com. Okay. Customer is added. Okay. Now you need to book that customer for that car. Okay. So how many days he want? So let's take he's going for some vacation from this Friday to next Friday, next Monday, 27. So add booking. Okay, booking successfully. Okay, here is a so Yan Sharma booked Tata Nexus from 17th 10 025 to from this day. So total 33,000 he need to pay. Okay, like this portal will be working. Okay, this is the how application you need to build and deploy. Okay, so end-to-end testing of this portal is completed. So you can test the logs and front end and back end in the next slide. End-to-end build and deployment and testing is completed. So now we need to monitor how to monitor the logs. Okay. So go to corresponding vision and here we can check the logs. You can check the logs here. So we are not able to we are not enable. So you can check logs here itself. Or else app inserts also you can check. Once you enable all things, you can able to check here. Okay. So or else you can set up a separate tool for monitoring purpose. Like 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 you have Prometheus, Grafana, like this you have multiple applications. Or else you can go to the log files of for specific application. Okay. So go to here. So there is a specific location is there for Nginx also for backend also. So there also you can check the logs of your application. Okay, like this you need to monitor. So now we need to clean up our resources. So our resources are completed. So we need to destroy all the resources. Let's clean up. Okay, yeah, this one clean up and delete. Run. Okay. Okay, this will destroy all your resources. So wait for a while to it will take to some time to destroy. Okay. So let's recap our architecture. So main agenda of this application, this project is how to utilize the Nexus artifacts. Okay, to our project. Okay, we have developers. They will develop all the code. So you have Azure pipelines based upon configurations. They will you have infra pipeline. These will provision all your infra resources. So once the setup is completed, so now we need to set up a Nexus server that will store the artifacts. So we need to set up the Nexus. You need to download and install. After that, you need to do some configurations. Okay. Once you open the application, you need to create a repositories for front end and back end. So once you have created, so after that you need to create an infra pipeline. So this will provision all your resources. So once it will deploying all the resources, you need to set up one-time setup. You need to do some one-time setup. That is, so front-end configuration and back-end configurations. Front-end will be helpful. Will be run as a Nginx, and the back-end will be run as a startup application. So once the one-time setup is completed, so we need to trigger the CI pipeline and CD pipeline. So this will CI pipeline will be building your application and deploy to the Nexus Artifactory, and we have CD pipeline. So this will be deploying your Nexus Artifactory to virtual machine, corresponding virtual machine. Okay, you have established a service connection for that server. Okay, so we have deployed a public IP, so global users can be able to access, and then they can able to run your applications. Okay, this is the whole agenda of this project. Okay, so let's wait for resource to destroy. So let's see status of this one. Yeah, now the plan is going on. Let's try refresh. Yeah, so now you can see virtual machine is destroyed. So like this, you will take some time to destroy. Okay. Okay. Let's quick back upon what we have learned. So in this project, we have learned how to develop the front end and back end application. So we have learned Terraform code and how to provision with the help of Terraform code. We will use the pipelines for to provision all these resources. We have services called Virtual Machine VNet. So after that, we have learned how to set up the Nexus, and we have made an Nginx configuration for front end. We make a Spring Boot application for startup application. Okay. So these things we have done. We have learned. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Prasanna Kumar.